what I'm gonna do initially is talk about what I did wrong and how it stopped me from improving. And in the second half, I'll give you my solution and what I teach my students. Okay, so I have both of my students here now. They're in my audience, so I have somebody to talk to, and feels a little bit more real in the interview. Okay, so first thing that I want to go over, again, this is what I did as a white belt. Okay, so 17 years ago, when I was a white belt, these 4 things was one of my biggest mistakes that I can see now that I would want to fix, but I want to help you guys, the viewers, correct it earlier. Okay, number 1 was I was very submission focused. When I first started jiu-jitsu, I just started rolling with friends, and of course they would submit me. I didn't know what I was doing, and I'd tap and tap, and I'd just get defeated. So when I joined the school, I was primarily just focused on learning submissions and just trying to submit people. I was just really out to armbar people or choke people, but that didn't work. Obviously, my first month, I didn't submit anybody. So that was number 1. Okay. Second mistake I did as a brand new white belt was every time I rode to win. Okay. I keep telling my students, rolling is about learning, and it's about helping each other. You tap to learn. But when I was a white belt, it was all about winning. I tried to win every roll. I went hard. I was a spazzy guy. I was a crazy lunatic trying to win every round. That was my second biggest mistake. Okay, my next biggest mistake was when I first started. I wanted to get promoted. I was very motivated, to say the least. I wanted to get my first stripes as quick as possible. So the stripes on this belt here at white, I could take a test to get my first 1 or 2 stripes, and I signed up immediately trying to get promoted right out my first month of training, and that was another big mistake of mine. Okay, number 4, I would say my next biggest mistake was as a white belt, I was always trying to learn the magic move, the move that could get me to tap or to win. So I was never practicing enough on one move. I would try to find the next flashy move and try to learn. Like at the time was Barambolos and Twister and rubber guard and things like that. But again, that's another mistake I made as a white belt. I kept trying to find the next fancier move. Okay. Right, so that's my top four mistakes I made as a white belt. Okay. So I'm gonna review and I'm gonna tell you the solution or how I fixed it. Okay, so before I get to the answer or the solution part, I want to ask you guys out there, please subscribe and like my videos. I'm trying to make longer format videos so I can get the watch time for YouTube. And my goal this year is to get monetized and try to make more quality videos and more instructionals and just give you guys more material to study. Okay, and you can also email me if you have questions or suggestions. All right, so let's go back to number 1. Okay, as a new white belt, I was so focused on submissions only. I learned later that I couldn't pass the guard. I didn't have a guard to sweep people. So trying to submit people was pretty much impossible. And I had to learn that months down the road that first of all, I got to get a decent guard to sweep people. Because if you can't sweep anybody, what's going to happen? They're going to pass the guard and smash you. Right, guys? So I learned that, I got to develop a decent guard. I got to sweep somebody. Then I got to learn how to pass the guard before I even think about submitting anybody. So what I train my students now is try to keep the submissions on the back burner. Don't be so eager to want to learn the latest submission until you at least have a decent guard game, a good sweep, 1 or 2 sweeps, and then you know how to pass the guard. If you can get to the mount or the back, then I'm willing to teach my students submissions. But as a beginner, if you can't even get to the mount or the back, there's no use learning a submission. Okay, and that's what I had to learn when I was struggling as a weight belt. So that's my lesson for number 1. Okay, second one. This is another important one. Rolling to win. When I was a white belt, I was just super aggressive and very spazzy. I got injured a lot. I injured myself dozens of times as a white belt. I broke my wrists, broke fingers, injured my partners. I got to a point where I was the person that nobody wanted to roll with because I was so wild. Okay, and then senior students would talk to me and tell me, hey, you gotta calm down, don't be a spaz, and try to roll more relaxed. And I realized that, yeah, I was that one guy that nobody wanted to roll with. So what I teach my students now is you have to roll with intention, right? If you're learning sweeps today, just roll to try sweep each other. Don't roll to try kill each other, because you're not gonna win a medal in training. You're not winning money. Okay, so your rolling should be practicing the moves that you just learned in class. And that's what I had to learn was, okay, I'm not competing when I roll, and I'm not winning to roll. I'm just learning when I roll. So tapping is part of learning. You're gonna tap no matter what. That's what I learned as a white belt. It's something that you just have to accept. You're gonna tap anyway. So you might as well learn from it. Okay, so that second part, learning to roll to learn to roll correctly, and not roll to win. In training, you absolutely have to put that in your head first before you hurt yourself or you hurt somebody else. Okay, number 3, yeah, rushing to get promoted. Okay, this is another, I feel a bad thing for me as a beginner was trying too hard to get promoted. You know, a stripe is good, you know, you earn a stripe, but you shouldn't be in a rush to earn your stripe, especially as a beginner, because you want to build a good foundation on the basic moves before you get promoted. You know, I think I rushed to get promoted just to get promoted, but I still didn't have enough foundation in my basics to advance. So although I did get promoted early, it didn't help me anyway. I was still, in my mind, not good enough anyway. I couldn't hold my own. I wasn't getting taps. I wasn't getting submissions. I was getting submitted too many times, like 5-6 times in a row. So yeah, getting promoted is great, but take your time. That's what I tell my students, is take your time, learn what you're supposed to learn at every stage, and you will get promoted when the instructor feels you're ready. Okay, and I was hard-headed. I was rushing through it. And as a 4-year white belt, I was a white belt for 4 years. I just learned that I can't keep pushing myself just to get promoted. I should go to class to learn and enjoy myself. So after 4 years as a white belt, I wasn't in a rush. I was like, okay, I'm still a white belt. It don't matter to me. I'm going to train anyway. So just look at training to learn and look at training to have fun. Okay, the last one here, the magic move. Okay, I was really fixated on trying to, like, again, win and get submissions. And back in the day, we didn't have YouTube. I had to buy DVDs and VHS tapes. So I would always look on the latest DVD instructional, and I would buy it just because I wanted to learn the new move, the secret magic move, right? And I think within a year, I had over 200 DVDs of instructionals. I mean, like, stacks of instructionals that I would watch once, and I would never practice or even get to use those techniques because my mind was just constantly looking for the next new move. And I realized down the road, months later, that I wasn't getting any better. I was always looking for the next new move, and I never learned my original moves I was supposed to learn in the beginning anyway. So I just got worse. And what I had to learn is what I teach my students is stick to the basics until you get it to work, and then get another move and get that to work. And then you combine your moves, right? So one basic scenario would be close guard, get 2 good sweeps at least, hip bump sweep, scissor sweep, get those to work, and then you can start working on getting really good passing. One would be knee cut or Toriando pass or leg drag pass, and just work on 2 until it gets really, really easy for you. And build your foundation. That's what I learned as an instructor is I don't want to teach my students 10 new moves every week. I want to teach them moves to make their original moves better. So it's more like a review and adding on to the first original moves they learned to make it better and add on to that first move, right? So you have variations to scissor sweep. You know, one basic variation would be sweeping to the left. You get good to sweeping to the left. Now learn how to sweep to the right. Sweep to the right. Okay, what happens when the person stands up? You have to change and then modify that sweep, right? What if they stuff your leg? What are you gonna do? All of this, believe it or not, makes you a better player in jiu-jitsu because you're sticking to one move. One move has dozens of variations depending on what your opponent does to you. So that's the real magic, is sticking to one move long enough to know every counter and defense your opponent's going to put on you. So it might just be you got one scissor sweep, but no matter what your partner does, you can counter it. Right? So that's one move that they kind of stop you. That's the way you should be training. Okay? Not add on a new move, and next week add on a new move, and next week add on a new move. No, you have to work with what you like and make it the best you can. Right? So make your scissor sweep unbeatable. No matter what they do, you're still gonna sweep them. Okay, so that's the last part of my video. Hope it helps you guys. I really want you guys to take this advice, save some time, and follow my tips here. And I'm gonna come out with more videos in the future. Thank you.